Hey Book World, I'm KM Robinson of KM Robinson Photography and Reading Transforms, and this is your book cover style guide quick look for Rise. Rise is a fantastic book about a girl named Kaya who very quickly realizes that she is part of an elite group of warriors whose job it is to overthrow the king, who murders everyone who gets in his way. It is a fantastic book full of royalty, assassins, warriors, and magic, and I highly recommend it. And not just because Jen and I are friends, but truly this is an incredible book. You most definitely need to pick it up. And a fantastic thing about this book is that it really lends itself to decorating your book imagery based on both the cover and on the content of the story. If you are basing your image off of the content of the cover, you can see that there are a lot of purples and pinks and yellow tones within this cover that are going to be really great to accent your book. I would recommend keeping your background simple because you don't want to take away from the book. There's really a lot going on. You've got a background scene, you've got a girl in the front, you've got her bow staff strapped to her. You really want to show those off, so you don't want to take away by having a busy background. I would definitely recommend having these colors to make it pop. I would recommend having light colors and dark colors within this image to make it stand out and make your readers want to look closer at your image. If you're basing your image off of the content of the story, there's a ton of stuff we can bring into your images to make it stand out based on the book. The first thing that I would say is to bring Kaya and elements of Kaya into your image. So we know very quickly in this book she cuts off all her hair. So if you've got some hair lying around, or you can even toss your own hair into this image, that'd be a really cool reference to that particular scene. You can also pull in her bow staff. We know that that is her weapon of choice. So if you happen to have something like a bow staff or is a bow staff, that would be a great reference to that scene. We also know that she practices with a long stick that is the size of a bow staff, so you could even pull that in to represent Kaya in your image. We also know that Anders is part of our story. He is an assassin and he tends to carry knives around. So if you have a long dagger, that would work really well to represent him. If you're representing Vidar in your image, you're going to want to pull in his medallion. That is definitely the thing I would use to represent him. So I would pull a necklace or a medallion that you have that could be representative of that. Now, we know Morlett is quite the character. If you can pull in his cape, that's definitely going to be something that is representative of him and his magic and his scariness. If you can represent him in that way, that would be awesome. You can also pull in some other elements from the story, such as the glowing sapphire orb. You can pull in the apothecary bottles from the very beginning of the book. We know that this is how Kaya ends up meeting Anders, which in turn leads her to meet Vidar and everyone else involved in this story. We also know that we can pull in some other objects from the story into our images, such as the basket of scarves, socks, and gloves that Kaya finds in town. You can also pull in something like her leather vest. You could pull in the leather-bound book that Vidar has in his room, as well as the maps he keeps in his room. You could pull in the loaf of bread that he offers to her. You can pull in cards for the game of Stolen Moon, as well as the rope that he uses to tie down Kaya while she's dreaming. We know that while she is traveling with Anders, she often holds a rock in her hand to kind of ground herself, but also uses a potential weapon. So if you can involve rocks in your imagery, that would be a really cool nod to that particular scene. We know that waterfalls and streams and pools are very important to the storyline. They pop up time and time again within this story, and so putting your book near water would be a great reference to these scenes, but please be careful when you are working around water. You don't want to damage your book. We know that the majority of this book takes place within the forest, so bringing those elements into your image is a great idea. Now we know we can't bring trees into your workspace, but you can bring plant life and plants into your home for your photos. So bringing in succulents or plants or grass would be a great reference to the trees and the things that you find in the forest. Whether you're basing your imagery on the content of the cover or content of the story, make sure you keep it clean and simple and very classic. You want your whole focus to be on the cover of the book. Do not cover up the author's name or the title so that your fans can find where they are looking for this book. You want to use your imagery to entice them to look into the things that you are reading. I know that recently I have had a number of people contact me and say that they have purchased a book based solely on an image I have put on my Instagram page that I used to teach you how to stylize that particular book. And you have that power too. Go through the book, go through the cover, and decide on a number of ways that you can bring the book to life through your image. To learn more about stylizing books and implementing your book-styled photography in your marketing plan, please visit www.readingtransforms.com and check out our blog at blog.readingtransforms.com. And you can also check out our video series on YouTube that teaches you how to take better book photography. I'm KM Robinson of KM Robinson Photography and Reading Transforms. Stay inspired.